G'day, Finroo here. How you doing? Welcome along. Homebrew Wednesday. I think it's number 42. But anyway, I'll fill a pint or a half pint and we'll get into it. I'm still drinking out of the keg. This is the that spice stout, that Muntuns kit, that export stout that I doctored up. It's very nice. It's settled down very well, mellowed out quite a lot. I will have to say though that with that recipe, one thing that it's actually very nice. Cheers. See, it's right at the point where it's mellowed out a lot. That those spices, especially the what are those little wee things called? Here we go. Cloves, crushed cloves. I put quarter of a teaspoon of crushed cloves into the fermenter with some other spices and. Just a wee bit. It's pretty strong stuff. I would probably, if I was going to, when I do it again next winter, I will. I think I'll just make a pinch. It's pretty strong. Those, you just a quarter of a teaspoon of this, quarter of a teaspoon of that. Quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg, quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter of a teaspoon of ground cloves, quarter of coriander. And 1 teaspoon of fennel, but the tasting of the cloves in it is quite strong, even though it was only a quarter of a teaspoon. So I would just go for just a pinch, just to sort of round everything off. But it's a matter of taste. I think it's about 6%, 5.7%. It finished quite high. But I like it. I really like it. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's a kit beer, and. We've been a bit of talk online, on YouTube, especially with Little John, looking at the kit twang, if you like. And I know exactly what he's talking about with kit twang. There's a flavour in there. The only way that I describe it is there's a flavour in kit beer that you don't get when you're doing all grain. It's not necessarily an off flavour, it's just a flavour that you wish wasn't kind of there. But my comments on the kit twang are that you can actually disguise it. If you're going to do a bag of sugar and a kit, you can do whatever you like to it, but you're still going to get kit twang. And I think Little John was alluding to that. So you really, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, he said no, you're not going to get rid of it. There's nothing makes a difference, and I think he's right. Occasionally you'll get a beer and you'll make one and it doesn't have that kit twang, and I think it's just the way that it goes. Whether it's the freshness of the kits that you get, I don't really know at all actually. But you can actually disguise that kit twang a bit with things like golden syrup and spices and just other additives that you put in it, that especially in stouts and things like that. And I think I had a comment last year, I think it was from someone that said, the more flavoursome kit that you have, like a stout, the more chances you're going to have of actually hiding that kit twang. And he's, whoever that was, he's quite right. This one here, I can't actually taste the kit twang in it, but I mean, there's all these spices in there. There's a kg of golden syrup, and it just seems to, it just overpowers that, because that kit twang is quite subtle, if you know what I mean. Anyway, cheers. Again, beautiful beer. Just go easy on that. Go easy on the ground cloves. Okay, might even pay just to put one whole clove in, would probably be the way to go. Anyway, brew day last week, last Thursday I think it was. You might have noticed that I put up a few shorts about it. Really enjoyed, had a fun day. My mate Al came over to give me a hand, which was awesome, and I thank him very much for that. He's the fellow that picked my hops last year when I was away, so I invited him to come over and give me a hand and have a look, see what we do, and he was a great help. Unfortunately, I wasn't much help because I had a couple of complete brain farts. So I decided that what I wanted to do was brew outside, and I did. And I didn't. There were a couple of things I didn't take into consideration. One was when I was cooling the work down. So I had to muck around with my hoses a bit, and we started off inside, and then we carried out, and poor Al scalded his hand. You've got to watch that. I probably should have instructed him a little bit more of what we were doing when we went out. So we took one side each, and poor old Al, he wasn't sure. I don't think he was sure what I wanted to do, and he was being really helpful. And I think he thought I wanted to put it down on the floor, so he dropped his side, and of course the steam somehow came out and burned his hand, poor bugger. But anyway, he was tough. He's tough. He got through it. Could have been worse. Could have been my hand. So the big problem that I had was I only got 10 or 11 litres. It's in the fridge there, fermenting away quite nicely. And the problem was that the hot bag, I left the hot bag in. Normally I would take the hot bag out at the end of the boil. For some reason, I was getting really tired. For some reason I left it in, and when I put the siphon in, of course it was jamming on the hot bag, and then I thought we'd actually finished, and I was a bit puzzled, and I said, oh well, that's all we've got, blah blah blah, and then when I settled it down, put it in there, pitched the yeast and everything, I had a look in the pot, and I realised the mash bag was in there, and I thought that at first that the hops that I'd got had absorbed all the. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me just grab a bag. So these ones I'll be using for my next brew. So all these hops were in a big bag, and they'd all swollen up like that, in the boil. But and I left the bag in there. I've got a new siphon pump, and I couldn't figure out there's a couple of things that kind of didn't go right towards the end, which is why, totally my fault, why it ended up with just 10 litres. But anyway, I'll have another crack at it next week. I'll be doing exactly the same brew. Here it is here. So it was basically just 5 kg of ale malt. I got it, did a really good mash, mashed at 65. Would have liked to have been 67, but 65 was fine. First work, 20 grams of fuggles. At 20 minutes, 160 grams of my homegrown hops, like this, and so they all went in. Al put them in the bag and all doing the thing. It was great. And then at 10 minutes, 20 grams, and then at 5 minutes, another 20 grams off pallet hops, right? So I'm using these in conjunction with, I don't kind of, you know what it's like if you get your hops, you've been growing them all year, and then you just throw them in at the 5 minute mark and then take them out. It's just like, ooh, a bit of a letdown. So I like to put them in at 20 minutes. Comes the big fella. You coming up? Come and say hello. Here he is. All right, boy. He's doing all right. So 20 minutes is quite a good time to put it in, and you get a bit of flavour out of them and some aroma too, even at 20 minutes. So I pitched one packet of US-05. I fermented it at 19 degrees for 3 days. Then I turned it up to 22 for 7 days, and I will be cold crashing it very soon. It's nearly finished. We are sitting at 12. Why is it that it always wants to turn away from where you're looking? You notice that? Huh? Okay. Okay, that's bang on. I'm calling it at 10-12, maybe 10-13, but I'm calling it at 10-12. It's got a beautiful aroma. Really, really nice. So Fuggles hops take on a totally different flavour when you're using them as a leaf as opposed to a pellet. it's going to be really awesome. That's going to be a beautiful beer. I'm going to bottle it, and then, so that'll be 330 ml bottles. These ones here. I'll bottle in their bottle condition. I'll give half to Al, and I'll send some away up north and whatnot, and so that'd be great. So that was a fun brew day. There's a couple of things that I have to fix up. I have to get a new pH meter because my one, I left the battery in when I was away, and of course the battery rusted, as they do inside the case. So I need to go and buy a new. I've been thinking about, shall I buy a new pH meter at $115, or should I just, because I can kind of know where I'm going to be with my salts when I'm doing it. But then there's so when I did my sparge water, when I wanted to drop my pH down to about 5.4 or something like that, my sparge water, of course I had to guess it. So actually I've just answered my own question. I'm going to buy another pH meter. I think this will be about the new one. I think this will be about my third or fourth pH meter. They don't last forever. You got to look after the damn things, and I'm pretty slack at. Well, I try. Okay, so that is that. That is the brew day. That was done. In a few weeks, in a few days, I will cold crash it for 3 days, and then I'll bottle it. So 10, 12, she's going good. Now, if some of you guys might remember, I did a short about rooting me hops. Here they are here, you see. So what I did, if you remember the short that I did, I just got some water out of the rain tank, and I just put a little bit of potting mix in the bottom, just to give it a bit of something, bit of how you doing. And what happens is, you can see here, they start rooting. Right? And rooting very well, I'll have to say. And then all I do was just poke my finger, I put pot with some potting mix in it, and just stick my finger in, pot them in, push it in, and they are happy as Larry in there. So I've got someone, I'm going to send some up north. I know a fellow that wants a couple, and I'll probably give him more, and he can give them away or do whatever, but so they won't be ready till next year, but I'll just let them grow outside and just let them tangle up and do their thing, and just let them try and develop, and then I'll probably next spring plant them into their own container and send them away. So that's worked out really good. So they're fuggles. So I also did some mint. My mint plant's growing really well, so you can actually see here roots growing there, which is awesome. Yeah, a few there. This one, just starting. I use mint quite a lot. I make tea and stuff like that. And I'll be starting to do some bonsais. Had a go at doing bonsais. That's not doing very well, but it may do. So I've started some bonsais. I might show you them next week. So we're rooting well. And just lastly, I've got some labels made last year. I forgot to show you them. These are my labels for my Panic Attack. I went with sort of the old classic style picture that I just got that picture off Pinterest, and just went on to Labelizer and just put it in, and there's a template there, you can do it, and it was pretty good price actually. I think it was $22. I think it was for 2 dozen labels, and they're cool to have. Because I can call any pale I've got my Panic Attack, and any dark beer I've got, I can call that my Tide Bastard. But I'm really looking forward to brewing the Tide Bastard again. That's my main lovely beer. But at the moment, this can be the Panic Attack. Smells great. So thanks very much for coming along, guys. It's another Homebrew Wednesday. I'm going to be starting to do some shorts for some tips and tricks coming up. I just put them on the shorts, just things like water chemistry, just some quick ideas and some quick how-tos. And if some of you guys are struggling with a couple of things, or you can't get your head around it, it may be just the thing you're after. So please like and subscribe and follow along. As always, cheers guys, take care. Ooh-wee.